the bear who loved to dance. Once upon a time, in a forest so deep and wide that no one had ever explored it all, there lived a bear named Benny. Now Benny was no ordinary bear. He was kind and gentle, and he had a talent that no other bear in the forest possessed. Benny loved to dance. From the moment he woke up in his cozy cave every morning, Benny's paws would start to tap. It was as if the rhythm of the forest was always playing just for him. The chirping of the birds, the soft rustle of the wind through the leaves, the bubbling of the stream, they all blended into a melody that only Benny could hear. And when he heard it, he couldn't help but move. While other bears would head off to the river to fish or climb trees in search of honey, Benny would skip and twirl his way through the trees. His furry body swayed from side to side, and his big, soft paws glided over the forest floor as if he were floating. Sometimes he would leap into the air, spinning and landing with a soft thud, sending a spray of leaves up around him like a burst of confetti. One bright morning, as Benny was practicing his latest dance, a leap and twirl combo he had invented just the night before, a little squirrel named Nibble poked his head out from a tree. His round eyes widened in surprise as he watched Benny spin gracefully across the ground. "Benny," Nibble called, scurrying down from his branch. "What are you doing? Aren't you supposed to be gathering food or getting ready for winter like the other bears?" Benny paused mid-spin and gave Nibble a kind smile. "Oh, Nibble, I know it's important to prepare for winter, but dancing makes me feel so alive. When I hear the music of the forest, I can't help but dance. It's my way of celebrating the beauty all around us." Nibble scratched his head, puzzled. "But bears don't dance. I've never seen one do that before." Benny chuckled. "Maybe not. But just because no one else has done it doesn't mean it can't be done." Nibble thought about this for a moment, then scurried up a nearby tree to watch Benny. As Benny continued to dance, twirling and swaying with joy, other animals began to notice. A group of deer, quietly grazing in a meadow, stopped and watched with wide eyes. A family of foxes peeked out from behind a bush, curious about what Benny was doing. Even the birds flying overhead slowed down to see the unusual sight of a dancing bear. Soon Benny wasn't dancing alone. The younger animals, inspired by his graceful movements, began to join in. The deer pranced lightly, their hooves tapping along with the rhythm of Benny's steps. The fox cubs leapt and spun around him, their tails flicking playfully. The rabbits wiggled their noses and hopped in circles, trying to keep up with Benny's spins. Even Nibble, though hesitant at first, started bouncing along on his tiny paws. As the animals danced together, a magical feeling swept through the forest. The trees, which had been swaying gently in the breeze, began to move in time with the dance. Their branches arched and waved, as if they too were enjoying the music. The flowers bloomed brighter, their petals opening wide to soak in the sunlight, and the stream that wound its way through the forest seemed to bubble a little louder, as though it were humming along. Day after day, more and more animals gathered to watch Benny dance, and every time more of them joined in. Word spread quickly throughout the forest about the dancing bear, and soon, even the animals from far-off meadows and distant hills made the journey to see him. One afternoon, as Benny was leading a particularly joyful dance with a crowd of rabbits, squirrels, and birds, the wise old owl named Oliver swooped down from his perch high in the tallest tree. Oliver was known throughout the forest as the keeper of knowledge. He had seen everything in his long life and was rarely surprised by anything. But as he watched Benny and the other animals move in perfect harmony, a twinkle appeared in his golden eyes. "Benny," Oliver said, perching on a low branch, "you've done something remarkable. You've brought all the creatures of the forest together in a way I've never seen before." Benny paused, wiping his brow with a paw, and smiled at the owl. "Thank you, Oliver. But I think the forest has always had this magic. I just helped everyone see it." Oliver tilted his head thoughtfully. "You've reminded us all of something important, Benny. There's more to life than just preparing for the future. It's just as important to enjoy the present, to celebrate the beauty and joy around us. You've shown us that through your dancing." As days turned into weeks, and weeks into months, Benny's dancing became a daily event in the forest. Animals of all shapes and sizes gathered at sunrise to join him in his joyful movements. Even the other bears, who at first had teased Benny for being different, eventually found themselves drawn to his happiness. They discovered that dancing wasn't just a fun way to pass the time. It was a way to connect with each other and the world around them. The bears, who were usually solitary creatures, began to form friendships with the other animals, something that had never happened before. They learned that sharing joy, laughter, and a simple dance could create bonds stronger than any they had known. And while they still fished and gathered food for the winter, they looked forward to their daily dances with Benny, knowing it filled their hearts with warmth and happiness. One winter's night, as snow fell softly on the forest and the animals gathered around a glowing fire, Benny stood in the center, ready to lead another dance. The snowflakes shimmered in the firelight, and the forest was quiet, except for the sound of Benny's paws moving through the snow. As he twirled and leapt, the other animals followed, their movements slow and graceful, perfectly in tune with the peaceful night. In that moment, Benny realized something wonderful. It wasn't just the dancing that brought them all together. It was the happiness they shared, the joy that spread from one heart to another, like the warmth of the fire. And so the forest became known not just as a place of beauty and magic, but as a place where joy was celebrated every day. Benny's dance continued, season after season, a reminder to all who lived there that happiness is found not in what you do, but in how you share it with others. The end.